Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. We're going to do a little update here and look at the daily time frame on multiple big tech stocks, SPY, QQQ, SMH. In the members video, I missed the SMH setup. I was showing all the setups that for the trade alerts that we had today. So I'll go ahead and do that on this video, and we'll look at Nvidia as well, but we'll look at a lot of the big tech stocks and maybe a little bit on the 65 as well, the VIX also. So I'm going to start off each and every day until we get a reversal off of this SPX. Just for anybody that's new here, we have a lot of new viewers. And first of all, I thank you so much for the support. And we do these videos intraday. It's about 1:33 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in getting these videos and or the individual analysis, consider becoming a member. Otherwise, no worries. These videos will come out at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So we're going to start with SPX as usual. We are at a historic top. I was describing to somebody in the Discord that this top here has been forming for about 4 months. Okay, that's not a typical trend situation. So it's not unheard of that this is happening. We can look at, first of all, this is the 1929, 2000, and 24 top. Okay, so looking at this top, you can argue that once you got the peak here, you got a rejection, but all in all, you had a 90% retracement with not a new high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months to happen. Okay, but nobody knew what would happen from this point if it just kept going down. Nobody knew if it was going to be more like a 2007 top where you get your rejection. Well, you can argue this right here, making a new high. Maybe that was forming a top here. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 months of forming top, 5, 6 maybe around the area. But after you made a new high, it just rejected off of there. So that's just something to keep in mind. We're at the top here. We're making new highs. Do we get a rejection off of it? And we're right at that confluence. This is such a huge setup here in the monthly time frame. And if you get that rejection off of this point, do we make almost a new high, or do we make a new high after the rejection? We don't know all of that information yet, but this could play out in several months. Could it go straight down? Absolutely. And I showed in those videos of 2000, the comparison. Remember, that was a 14% drop. Okay, so that in 16 days. So on this time frame, it doesn't look like anything, but a 14% drop, and people are going to really start to panic. So I believe that 14% is right around here at the 5,200. But anyway, I just want to show that as usual, as we have new. Let me turn off my phone ding. Sorry about that. As we get new members on here, that's really what we're keying on. It's a probability that this is a top. All right, let's go down to the daily time frame for each of these. So on SPY, here's the traditional look at it. We have the bearish rising wedge. We're rejecting off of this top to top to top right now. Do we go back up and touch it here again? It looks a lot more likely now. We have the 610, and I'll go through that on the 65 minutes. So make sure you stick around. By the way, I play this on 1.25 speed or 1.5 if you want to get all this information and be able to watch other people's videos and things like that, and save yourself some time. So I was giving the comparison here of what would, if the top were right here, excuse me. Sorry about that. So if the top were right here in 16 days, down, that's what it would look like from 2007. I'm nowhere near saying that this is going to happen, but we have to be ready for anything at a historic top. Now, so we have a little bit room left up here. And so we've been playing this rotation game. All that would happen would be another divergence, and then on the daily time frame, another divergence right here. So that's all we do. And on the Qs, you'll see that's exactly what happened. So we're just taking a look at this, and we're still in a bullish stance at the 8 EMA. If price gets above this 610 zone, that's our final target there. Then there's a little bit of confluence up above that we can start talking about. Not sure that's going to happen. Not, again, if you're bullish, go for it. Be in that camp. I'm just not there. Let's see what else we can look at. So looking at time and price, we have something coming up on Monday. We'll see if we get a new top here. If tomorrow is bullish, it doesn't have to, but likely the weekly kind of cycle is Monday typically follows what Friday does. So if Friday is bearish going into the end, I know that we have Thursday still to go with PPI, but if we start to get bearish or have a pop and drop tomorrow hitting that 510, then we're only 2 points away. Maybe we get that 610. Maybe we get it today. I'm not sure. But if we reject going into tomorrow, PPI, and we have bearish Friday, then you can consider Monday to be bearish as well. So let's do the Qs and then SMH, and then we'll go through some of those large check stocks there. So looking at this from a traditional look, we have this rising wedge. We're above it. Is that going to hold? That's the big question. So for now, breaking out, another divergence right here. That's what we're talking about in SPY possibly happening. We're also getting a sell signal on the slow stoke here as well. So watch out to see what happens going into tomorrow. Quickly through, we have, this was our major target here at the 127.2, and that's from this correction here. So the retracement at the 127 is there, and then if price, just keeps going, holds on to 525, there's minor resistance going through this as well, but the next major stop is the 162. So if you're a bull, hold on to this and continue higher to 553. Again, I'm not convinced. It's going to be hard to convince me, and I'll show you exactly why. Okay, so this, and then we'll go to all the individual names. This is the SMH, this is Semiconductors. This is exactly why I am not convinced that the market is going any higher, or at least to those next targets up there. I really have to see this start to break out. So we're in this bear flag, broke down, back test, rejected, and we're holding that 200 moving average for now. All right, and don't forget about the video that I put out comparing that the 2018 situation was very similar to this, and it took I believe after the last one of the supports off of it, took 14 days to break back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still a couple more days left if it were to be the same thing, but it's just the market rhymes, so we're not looking for exactly 14 days. We broke down from the bear flag, and let's see if we hold here. This really has to get above this high. So far we have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high here. We have to break above here and, convincingly have, a crossover and continuation to the upside. That would be really bullish. But just in a general sense, this market it's not confirming the new highs, especially in the Qs, and semiconductors lead the Qs. Okay, so let's go down the list and we'll get to Nvidia as well. Plus, we're rejecting off of that 5 in all the moving averages, the 8 EMA and the 20 and the 50 on SMH. So we got to get above those in order to be bullish on there. Okay, so you have the VIX, and the VIX is trying to make a higher low. We talked about that yesterday. That's what we're looking for, to hold on to this 8 EMA, and then if it gets above this 20, that's going to be a breakout anyway. So you get above the 20 moving average and see ya. Now glancing at all these individual names, you have some geometric lines here. Starting to get a reversal candle. We'll see how that ends. Do we break back down from here? Possibly. And I'm not going to show all the negative divergence. That's all over the place. You guys know that. Channel top. Possible rejection there. Again, there's a negative divergence from top to top here. Tesla exceeding by about 7 points from our final target. I'm not going to go through that to make an all-time high here. And I added this. This is where the all-time high is. So let's see if we don't reverse off of this all-time high. And we talked about in previous videos with Tesla how I think this is going to have a nice deep retracement and make new highs after that. So we'll go through that later on if and when that happens. Meta, another resistance. It's above it right now, peaking. Let's see where it closes. Nvidia. So Nvidia, again, if you're going to see any of the tech stocks really start to take off, this has got to be a bullish setup. You have a bear flag and holding on to it so far, closed underneath it, and opened and got back into that bear flag. So that can't be, considered a breakdown at all. But we want to see this high taken out here at about 146.50. About 146.50, you want to see get above the 50, the 8 EMA, the 20. This is a bearish posture. But if price can get above here, gap up above maybe tomorrow, and you might draw a little downtrend line here, then you can consider taking Nvidia, and I will actually consider taking Nvidia as a hedge to the upside. Okay, but for now, it's weak. Qs are making new highs. Nvidia is not. SMH is not. Non-confirmation. So it's one of two things. This is binary. The semis catch up, or the Qs break down. Google, what a fascinating move. Insane. Can this go up higher tomorrow? Absolutely. So I drew back here. We had a high to high, and then possibly up here at the 200, which would be a natural place for this to go. Another high. And if and when we make it up to 200, that will be a shorting opportunity for me. And don't forget, we're short Apple, we're short Tesla, we are short Nvidia. Really eager. I want to put on a Meta, but we have a lot of short positions, so not putting anything on yet. I added 4 new positions on today. So Microsoft's interesting because it had that, if you draw it on the traditional sense, it had basically like a triangle breakout. So that's how a lot of people are looking at it. But from something like that, but from a Elliott wave or the other boards that we put together with the Fibonacci's and whatnot, all we did was have an A, B triangle within there, and then a C. So that's where you see the triangle forming. You can draw it, nice symmetry up here, but the real triangle is an ABC for an A, and then we get our A all the way down here, ABC for A, B, C, D, and E, all in here, so to form a triangle. And then you have the larger degree C for an impulse wave up here. And I do believe that's just about done. So from the top of this impulse move, computer's lagging a little bit, sorry about that, to the bottom of that impulse move, we're just pennies away from the 450.87 objective short as well at the 786. So huge spot there for Microsoft as well. So you see all of these individual names are at just crucial points once again. And we have a little bit to go on maybe some of them. I don't know. Tesla might have a little bit to go. We'll see if it holds there. Google certainly appears that tomorrow will be another update and perhaps a reversal candle if it gets to the 200. But other than that, I mean, everything looks ready to kind of nosedive, or at least let's just call it reverse. All right, so again, time references, we're looking at time and price here. Is that today? Oh, where's the price? Here it is up here. So we're looking at possibly Monday there. Nothing going on today. We did have time and price cluster at the top here. So maybe this is the top. Maybe we don't make a new top here. We did have a 9 DMARC sell signal right up here. Same with the Qs. Let's go down to the 65. And we'll just go through a couple. Okay, so the bearish rising wedge, once again, the Qs did that, made a new high here. Maybe we do a PPI and then reverse off of that, following what the Qs do. Or maybe we're diverging from the Qs and having a lower high here, which I think is more likely the situation because I can count 5 waves in here. The Qs, you couldn't count 5 waves at all. So what's happening right now is we're looking at, in the first spot here, options expected move is about 600. But the first spot here is about 596. That's kind of a breakout zone. 600 to 596 would be the zone where maybe you get some sort of bounce from that point. And we can take a look at this because now we're at that 786 retracement from high to low. And we talked about the bounce yesterday. So we put on a new position at the 62%, but clearly it went a little bit higher there with the Qs leading everything off. And now we actually have a projection here. We can, when this happens, when we have some market structure, if this is a lower high, which we're considering a double top right now, right? So we're at this minor 150% retracement from this correction here. And the potential, if this is a lower high, now our wave 3, so this would be a 1, a 2, and then a wave 3 down here to 162, and that, guess what? That's that 596. That's that support that we have drawn in there. And again, we didn't make a new drawing. This was there, okay? It's there for a reason, good support. And at that point, so we can borrow some of these now. So we're looking at this being a 1. Duplicate that. 2 setup into the 786. And then a wave 3 down to about the 596. A wave 4 shallow, perhaps back in the 600 area where this would be good resistance. And then a wave 5, because wave 3 is going to be longer than wave 1, well, we anticipate, then wave 5 can be whatever it wants to be. So this, I know it's not exact, but this is kind of what it'll look like there. This could be longer or shorter. We'll have to see when that comes. A lot of things have extended. And here's a good example of an extension. Here's a 1, 2, wave 3, and then wave 4, that sharp move there, with the wave 5 being extended. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that would be your extension, where you have wave 1 being the shortest, wave 3 being the second longest, and then wave 5 being the longest move there. That's really, really common in commodities, not so common in individual names or indices. So we'll see what happens with wave 5 there. But if we reject here, that's what we're looking for. If not, then I showed, I think it was yesterday or the day before, the other count where this is a 1, 2, and this was actually a wave 3. We got to 4, but I don't think this is a wave 4 anymore, because we violated that 38.2 retracement. So I think it's less likely that the wave 4 is up there anymore. If this was the bottom of 2 and up to the top of wave 3, then your price came all the way down into 50%, and that just violates, that just makes it less likely. So with that said, talking myself through this, I do think this is going to reverse off of here. I think that's more probable, considering this a double top at this point, and that we may miss this 510 next spot there. But I'm telling you now, we shorted already here. We will short the 610. I keep saying 510. I will short the 610 once again at that point. If and when price does that, it'll make another divergence and a potential sell signal at that point. The Qs. So we don't have any market structure to project anything. So, you know, there's no real point you can go there. Support, resistance, maybe breakout. You have the trend line here. We'll just have to follow that along with SPY. SPY could be, and here's what happens a lot of times. If since this made a new high, if SPY does not, you'll see we'll follow SPY a little bit more than we will the Qs, because what could happen is SPY has this nice jagged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave move, and the Qs could easily take over and just barely have any structure looking into it. So it'll be a lot harder to count. And so keep that in mind if this does reverse here, that this could be really, really impulsive, and we might not be able to count this as well as SPY. Let me just see something here. Just another. Yeah, so here's another potential line drawn here from this top to see if that I mean, that could work out. If you consider this an ABC for an A, and then you get a B here, and then you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that could be end of, I mean, I don't know, it's all speculative, but there's a geometrical line right there from this top to this top, and we're at that point right there. So also, with that said, we're at that last target on the lower time frame where we had this correction here, made it to the first major resistance here, got above it, held yesterday, even though it gapped, it went underneath, but gapped above it, and made it to the 162. So this is where we have at about 528. That's about where we put on our QQQ put for today. I got a little bit above it, but you know, that's fine. Give yourself some room. Okay, SMH. So SMH is really just, like I said, it's just weak. Broke down from the bear flag, back tested, and all I think this is a impulse wave here, and we're going to get a shallow bounce. I think this move actually might be done from this point. We can do different ways of measuring it, but I think that's going to get much more shallow, and this is a potential wave 3 here. So going into the rest of the week and into next week, this could be a pretty relentless move here, and that should be really led by Nvidia And so we're short Nvidia, we're short the SMH as well. And this is the 1-2 setup that we put on today. We actually put it on a little bit earlier than this. We put it on this rejection here, the 382, because we weren't sure. I wasn't sure, how shallow this bounce will be. And we're at the 50%. So it potentially could get to 62, but this is going to get weaker and weaker, these bounces. And look how straight down, how weak any of these bounces were. It's an impulse. So we have another 1-2 setup right here. And again, if it goes up higher, then you have the 200 moving average. And then this move should be pretty devastating. I think we'll have a down market into FOMC. We'll see what happens. So that was our setup that I wanted to put into the members video, and I forgot to do it. 1-2 setup there. That's why we took that trade. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Nvidia is continuing to move here. Again, this thing has to really take control. We're back at resistance. Let's see. Is this an impulse wave? That's what we're looking for. But we have plenty of room to the upside if price needs to go there. So we got, there we go. So the 50% will be at about the 140. So I do suspect we'll get to 140 probably today. We're right there, a few pennies off. And if it need be, just like SMH, the 62% retracement is just above there at the 200 moving average right there. So we can see if that happens into tomorrow. If not, then we'll see if this becomes bullish or not. So the VIX is the last thing, and then we'll end this. I know you guys have had a lot of patience in the room and everything, but one thing that we talked about was this making a higher low here, and this is the setup I was talking about. We're at a comfortable zone here, the options expected move at the upper end, so this could end up breaking out as soon as tomorrow. Do we close the gap? Maybe. Not sure. My thought is that we're going to leave this gap open for a while until we get a nice big bounce in the market after a correction. So higher low, and I think this takes off. That's what I'm looking for. Close this gap first. And then I think this next gap will be closed easily after that, after a breakout from these insane moves. So keep in mind, take a look at the bonds. These are bouncing and going into PPI. This could continue up here right now, but I think this is an impulse move here, a 5-wave move. And I think this is just a correction. So we can go up into the 200, maybe test the gap area. And falling from there, this could spook the market by going up. But I think eventually, after a big move to the downside, that's really what's going to cause the market to fall. So I constantly talk about, I don't like news headlines and things like that. It's the bond market, the currency markets, the commodities that affect the stock market. That's how we find out if what's going on with the market, not by some headlines that talk about whatever trade trade talks and chip makers and stuff like that. So all right, that's where I'm gonna leave it. You guys, thanks for listening and watching. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you tomorrow after PPI.